Hey, congratulations. You just wrote some pretty awesome music. So now you want to get into the studio and get that music recorded and share it with the world. So I'm going to give you 5 really simple tips to help you make the best recordings in the studio. Stick around and let's make some magic. Hey everyone, this is Mike Ofca, and I've been recording music in the studio for quite a while. And I have a lot of little secret tips and tricks that I can help you with to make the most out of your studio experience. And today I want to just share 5 really simple things with you. Now, at the time of recording this video, we're going through the coronavirus pandemic, and a lot of us are just under a stay-at-home order, which explains the hair. So I just want to wish you well and hope that you and your families are staying safe during this time. So let's get right to the 5 tips, starting with tip number 1, and that is know your songs and have your parts very well rehearsed. Now, some of these might seem like they're very common sense or obvious, but it's always surprising to me how some of these things don't seem so obvious to the people who are coming into the studio, and maybe they need to hear it or be reminded. But it is really important for you to practice the songs over and over again, drill them into your muscle memory. You don't want to be able to just get through a song. You want to really own the song and have command over it. And that way you can get all of your parts done and maybe allow a little extra time for some experimentation or playing around with additional ideas. So it's always a good idea to have those songs super prepared and be able to bang them out or play them without any effort whatsoever. And when you're practicing your parts, practice to a click. If you're in a band and you're practiced separately from the band, make sure that as a band you've figured out the correct tempo for the song and everyone knows what it is, so that they can use a metronome at home when they practice. And then when you're together as a band, have the drummer play to a click track. I cannot stress enough how important this is. And it's also a good idea to record yourself while you're practicing so you can listen back to it and evaluate your performance. Sometimes when you're practicing and you're hearing yourself in your own head as you're playing, you don't have the same perspective as you would if you're just a listener listening back to it. So doing this might help you to identify some problem areas, or if you're struggling with some intonation or timing issues in certain parts. Certainly can't hurt, so why not just do it? Okay, tip number 2, be focused and well prepared. And I mean mentally and physically, okay? The night before your session, don't party, don't drink too much. The worst thing in the world is to try to come in to the studio and make history with a hangover. That's just ridiculous. Save the party for after you're done recording. I understand that it's an exciting time and you're raring to go and you're amped up and you just want to party a little bit. A drink or 2 is okay, but don't overdo it. I've seen this tons of times. You also want to get plenty of rest and eat well. Have a nice meal the night before the session and the morning of. Have a good breakfast. Take care of yourself, your body, and have a clear, focused mind when you come in, because it's going to be a long day and it requires a lot of focus and concentration. And on top of this, I would also recommend that you leave your personal issues at home. And don't bring them with you to the studio, because all that stuff's going to distract you, and the studio is your safe place, so leave all that stuff outside. Okay, tip number 3 is actually a huge pet peeve of mine, and that is you want to make sure your instrument is well maintained and set up properly. You're coming into a recording studio spending a lot of money on studio time. Why would you bring a crappy instrument to the studio to record with? I've seen so many guitars come in with the action this high off the neck, and the neck is bowed like a crossbow, or they've got shredded sticks or drum heads with dents in them, or even instruments that are just dirty and dusty and they stink from being in the rehearsal space. Have some pride. This is your baby. Treat it with respect. And that means bring in an instrument that's worthy of the task. This also means make sure you have extra strings with you. Put fresh strings on the instrument before you bring it in. That includes guitars and basses. Make sure you have fresh drum heads on your drums. If you take your instrument to a local music store, they'll set it up for you for 25 or 30 bucks. And if you want to do it yourself, there's plenty of resources online to help you do that. So there's really no excuses. Make sure you have a good instrument in the studio to record your parts with. Okay, tip number 4 is you want to serve the song, not your ego. So this means a couple of things. Don't try to play parts that are beyond your ability or parts that don't sound like you. You don't want to come in and sound like Yngwie Malmsteen or John Petrucci or Neil Peart. You're none of those guys. You are you. So come in and sound like you. If you're trying to record parts that you're struggling with, then you shouldn't be trying to record those parts, okay? Come in with a plan of what you want to do, know exactly what you're going to record, and just record that part. Now, maybe you're struggling to make it through the song and you're struggling with a certain passage where there's some fast notes. You've tried it a few times and you can't quite get it there. Maybe there's another guitar player or a singer in the room who can hit that high note or play that run a little bit better than you. So you should let them do it for you. And it's okay. We all know you can play, but we're serving the song. So let's just get it done. Let's get it sounding good and give the song what it deserves. And there are lots of other things you can do to help the session besides just playing the parts and recording music. You can also help establish a positive vibe in the room. You can encourage the other band members when they're doing a good job and offer positive reinforcement. If you are getting down on yourself for not being able to play a part, it's okay. Just don't worry about it. It'll be fine. It's also very important to have an open mind and trust the producer and trust the other band members in the room, because we all have the same goal in mind, and that is we want to make an awesome recording. If somebody's suggesting ideas to try, be open about it. Don't shut it down if it's not something that you immediately heard in your head. Sometimes it's a good idea to record that part. It might inspire something else, or you may hear it and realize that it actually is something really cool. And that's why I always give parts a chance when somebody's hearing something in their head that they want to attempt to lay down. If there's time to do it, let's do it. Why not? But again, we want to make sure that all the essential parts are done first. And since you came in well rehearsed and you had it practiced and under your fingers and you owned that part, we're done with all that stuff already. So now it's time to experiment and have some fun and just enjoy ourselves, which leads me to point number 5. Tip 5 is to just relax and have fun. This should not be a scary scenario. And if it is, something's wrong. Because if you're not having fun, what's the point? We're here to make magic. We're here to have a creative vibe in the room. We're here to enjoy ourselves, and we want our listeners to enjoy the music that we're recording. So if we're having fun and enjoying ourselves, that's going to translate into the recording, and your listeners are going to hear that as well. So those are my 5 tips for making better recordings in the studio. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see some more music related content, please check out this playlist. And if you want to check out some of my other videos, I make lots of videos about things I enjoy. That includes camping, hiking, family vacations, all kinds of fun stuff. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Peace.